What's going on, guys, and welcome to the second episode of my video series, The Physical Media Club. In today's video, I bring on one of my good friends from the past couple of years. This guy, him and his friend at the time started their channel in January 2022. And recently, they just passed 3,500 subscribers. So, to further ado, let's bring on our guest, John from Let's Talk Entertainment.
All right. Well, thanks for that great intro as always, Frank. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm John from Let's Talk Entertainment Media. We started in 2022, like Frank was saying. It was me and my cousin Matt. We kind of started the channel originally, actually, as not just a physical media channel. It was supposed to be like a movie channel and a video game channel all in one. And then it kind of just we noticed that the physical media thing was working, so we kind of just stuck to that. And then eventually Matt left, and now it's just me reviewing movies and 4K Blu-rays. And sometimes we just break down a movie every once in a while. And then there's a show called Collector's Corner that I do with Frank every month.
Yeah, yeah. In case you're watching, Matt, what's up?
He'll check it out.
Yeah, yeah. I like to start out with this video series with a couple icebreaker questions. Um, One of my first questions is you're married, a long time marriage, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, one of my questions to you is what is your favorite memory of Faith in your guys' relationship?
Oh, my favorite memory with her. I mean, there is so many, but I'd have to say my favorite memory is our honeymoon. Honestly, when we got married, when our honeymoon in Jamaica, we just had the time of our lives. I'll never experience anything like that again, and it was incredible. We had like a private pool in our room. Like it was an amazing experience. Plus the buffets. I'm a big food guy, and Jamaican food with buffets. One of those all inclusive resorts. And then I'm obviously with my new wife, and new marriage. It's great, and man, it's an experience of a lifetime. And that was 7 years ago now.
Oh wow! Okay,
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
How long were you guys dating before you popped the question?
Before asked her to marry me,
Yeah.
I was only 8 months. No, yeah, 8 months from the time I started dating her to the time I asked her to marry me.
Wow.
Yep,
You
February
just
to October.
you just knew, man. You just knew.
Yeah, and it stuck. Like I asked her to marry me in October of 2011, and I started dating her in April of, well, we first went on our first date in February, but we were like officially dating in April of that year.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Heck yeah, man. I know in my relationship, with my wife, we yeah, in our first, it was our 6 months after we started dating. She told me that she asked me if I just joined her to travel along with her with as her she was a travel nurse. And so I was in a dead end job, and I said, hell yeah, I want to go. And and that was the best decision I ever made. So yeah, man, it's kind of like when you know, and so that's awesome that you kind of knew that early on in your relationship.
Yeah, no, I knew right away, honestly, because I met her a year before that, and then we just were great friends. Went on one date together like within a year. And that was it, and we've been together for now 14 years, which is crazy.
Fantastic. The other icebreaker question is your cousin and former co-host of the Let's Talk Entertainment is what is one of your favorite memories of Matt when he was on the channel?
Well, when he was on the channel, me and Matt, I loved on the Sunday shows when we would do the food thing that we kind of don't do anymore. Where basically because I'm such a slob, Matt would just set me up with different foods that he thought I could make a mess out of. So on the Let's Talk Physical Medias when he was on, we'd pick a different food that we'd eat every week just to watch me eat it. And I miss doing that. It's not the same anymore because that was always a fun way to open.
Yeah, you guys. I think you guys started that like a year into the channel, right? Or maybe it
Yeah,
was like 10 months or 11. Maybe it was pretty late into your channel, if I remember right.
Yeah, no, that wasn't something that we just did right away. That was just something that we kind of organically added because to do something fun on the show.
Hmm, hmm. So as I mentioned earlier, is that you and Matt started the channel back in 2022. What made you guys want to start the channel?
Well, originally it was just going to be me starting a channel, and I was just going to be actually like try and be a film critic. And I told Matt that that was my plan. The reason why was honestly I just turned 30 years old, or was just about to turn 30. I was kind of feeling depressed, to be honest with you.
Hmm.
Felt like I hadn't done anything in my life. I'd been working at the same job that I recently just left for so long, and just felt unfulfilled. And I thought, this is, you live once, might as well fulfill your dream. And my dream was always honestly to be a film critic. So I always thought, okay, I'm pretty good in front of the camera. I like to talk, love movies. I know a good amount about it. So let me do that. But then I talked to Matt, and he's like, oh, I think I want to do that too. And, you love video games, maybe we can do like a movie video game thing. And I thought, all right, that's cool. Takes half the work off of me.
Hmm.
And I thought, okay, well, let's do it. We're gonna do this once, and I felt like, okay, we're gonna do it. We're fully in on it. Let's get the equipment and let's do it.
Honestly, right before logging in and chatting with you, I just took a little quick um, couple minutes of looking at your oldest videos and looking at your guys' intro, jumping over the couch.
Oh my god, I
It was all
know.
cheesy. It was great, man. I loved it.
So did I. I wanted it to be like, one of those 80s sitcoms, you
Yeah,
know?
that's exactly what it was. Oh, I loved it. I love cheesy stuff like that. There's good
Oh, me
intros.
too. That's why I
Yeah.
love 80s movies.
And your whole design, it's all 80s kind of theme, colors, and yeah.
Oh yeah, that whole aesthetic just always worked for me. I know the 80s movies aren't for everybody, and that whole like neon colored stuff isn't for everyone, but man, my eyes just get drawn to it.
Before you guys started, what was there a YouTube creator that kind of inspired you to start the channel?
Well, I was always inspired by guys like Chris Stuckman and Jeremy Johns. Those were always the people. And then formerly Jeff from Films at Home. I always thought he was great. I was the physical media community and then mid-level media with Ken. There was always people like that who I thought, okay, they did it and they got pretty far. I think I have as much knowledge as them, like naive, like how everybody is when they first start a YouTube channel, thinks like, oh, if they can do it, I can do it too. And then you realize how hard it is, but then you appreciate them even more. But yeah, I was inspired by guys like, I would say Chris Stuckman was probably the biggest inspiration because he was kind of started out the same way I started out. So I always felt like that was a cool thing.
Cool. What was your first uh big hit video? Like, how long did it take you to get there as well?
I actually think we had our biggest hit video still, like within I think it was our second video, which is crazy. Yeah, we were doing tech reviews, which tech reviews do really well still on our channel, and we never do them anymore. But we reviewed Matt got the Sonos Arc, and
I remember that. Yeah.
he did a whole review of the entire Sonos like system because he bought the Arc, the two big rears, and he bought the subwoofer. And that video just took off like a rocket. And I mean, it's terrible. That's what's really blows my mind about it, is that it's an awful video. Like, we didn't know what the hell we were doing. I wasn't editing anything. Like, so however it was filmed is how it went up on YouTube. And then like now I'm a color adjusting the whole thing to try and make myself look less ugly. Back then I didn't care. So, you know.
uh,
Yeah, man.
oh,
So like that's how I kind of felt like, that video is still, dude, that video still gets views. It's crazy. And I hate it.
is it still your biggest hit?
Oh yeah, yeah. I don't know what it's at. I don't really check it that often, but it still gets views to this day. And it's weird how YouTube works because I will get views. Like there's a video we did in 2022. Me and Dennis did this video. My other cousin, law abiding citizen. I still
Mm.
get comments on that video. I had a comment today on that video, and it's not great. It's not a great video. I mean, the conversation's good, but I hate the audio.
Do you think maybe it's because people might find it like a little more authentic, like maybe more a little bit more real?
I've always wondered that, like, what is the line? Because I over edit my videos sometimes, but I wonder do people like that? But it's hard to get feedback on that. But yeah, I think that you're right. It feels like a more sit down, authentic conversation with, you don't put as much like effort into the post production, and it just feels like a genuine conversation. So maybe that's why.
Mm-hmm. I know for me personally, I've been doing this for slightly over 3 months, like 3 months and a couple weeks, and I noticed that like in the beginning of my videos, I really of my channel, I like edited a bunch, and so at least to me, I thought I did, and it seemed kind of like choppy, and so I think I've at least gotten a little bit better, at least hopefully,
Mhm.
that
I love
I've
your
got.
videos.
Yeah, that I've gotten a little bit better, less editing, less choppiness, because it can look a little funny as well if there's like a lot of cuts and stuff like that. So I think maybe that's why people were drawn to it. Um, but yeah, you know what? I mean, we've been friends for almost 2 years, really. How in the hell do you balance your personal life and you being a YouTube content creator, especially now since you're kind of solo? Every now and then you'll bring in your wife, but it's just a one man show, really. Like, how in the hell do you do it?
Well, that's because I pretty much have no personal life is really the best way to describe it. I really don't. Like I have a full-time job and then I also do YouTube and I like to try and get 4 or 5 videos out a week. There was a time when I was trying to do 7 a week. But
Whoa.
it's crazy, yeah. And it's because I put at least 4 hours a day into YouTube. And then like when I have days off of work, I make that a full-time YouTube day. So that's how I have to do it. And then, balancing family, I'll be honest, like, over the last couple of years, because this is my dream, I've definitely not put as much time into my, immediate family, given I don't have kids. So it's just, my wife, my dogs, and then like my parents, my dad lives close by, but my mother lives in Arizona. So, I would say that I don't commit to them as much, and they understand just because this was my dream. And, to make it work, you gotta, people think that you're on YouTube, you're already doing pretty well financially. I can tell you that's not the truth. So I
Mhm.
have to still do full time work and pay for my house and my well being. But to balance it, I definitely have to neglect certain parts of my life.
Do you have any hobbies outside of the YouTube life? Like, to mentally, refresh, and so it's just not, mentally draining. Uh,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm a big sports fan too. So besides just I like football, NASCAR, and I'm a pro wrestling fan. So, I have all three of those that I like to do outside of like anything movie related. So because movie related stuff now pretty much connects to YouTube.
mhm. Yeah, the reason why I asked that previous question of balancing life is because, like I said, I just been into it for a few months, and I know for me, I think it's just part of being a YouTube creator is that you're always thinking of what to do next. How's it going to get better? More reviews, and then of course, uh, you're trying to balance, just your life and with work, and because I just had that conversation with my wife just
Okay.
just the other day, man, and so yeah, it's just because I know sometimes when I tell her that I want to do this certain video or whatnot, it's sometimes I get the look,
Yeah.
and so yeah, it's just I know it can be hard to find that balance, whether whatever it is for that individual. So because I want to be successful with this channel, but it's again like I know for me personally there's no way in hell that I can put out like a video every day, or I think when I first started I did like 4 videos a week, and then like recently, maybe the past month, 3 weeks, I definitely slowed down, because I just really want to try to find a good balance, and good quality content as well. So, but yes, spending time with my family and stuff. So, but yeah, man, it's just. it's a hard balance.
It's very
uh,
difficult.
yeah. Since you've been on YouTube now for little over 2 years, has there um, has there been a content creator that you really that has helped you through this journey?
Honestly, the biggest help I ever got was from the I don't want to get his name wrong, but I believe it was the Incredible Tony. The Incredible Tony. This guy at the very beginning, he's the only reason I started editing my videos a little bit, even more, like changing the color, doing the exposure, because I knew nothing about the camera, about editing when I started this. Like, I went into this like deadhead with like, I'm gonna teach myself how to do all this and I'll figure it out as I go. That's why if you watch the first year of our videos, I mean, they're just absolute garbage because maybe other people don't think they are. Like, I know people will say, "Hey, like, I like those videos," but I'm like, I go back and look at them and I cringe. So,
Mm,
it's definitely like an improvement.
hmm Um, and what has been the highs and lows of being a YouTube content creator so far?
I would say definitely that the highs is I just love how many people comment on the videos and finding people like you and meeting all these great people in the community who like physical media. Like, it's crazy to me because I never thought that that was like this big of a community until you reach out, because when I grew up there was nobody. There was just Matt. So that's why we started a YouTube channel together. Everybody else, like, especially after a certain point when physical media became more niche, there was just that was it, like that, it was just me and him and nobody else. So definitely meeting new people on YouTube and then building actual relationships with them and having genuine friends, I think, has been the highs. But as far as lows go, though, I would have to say definitely um I expected to gain more subscribers over time. I didn't expect it to take as long as it did. I thought it was going to be much quicker and much easier. So definitely the shock of how hard it is really what has been the lows for me. Is like, you get a little bit depressed when like something you put your heart and soul into doesn't do so well.
Yeah, and I remember you've been very supportive with me and helping me grow as a content creator, and I owe so so much to you, man. It's yeah, it's incredible how much you helped me. One of the things that I wanted, just to say right off the bat is, and I've said this a bunch of times in my videos, but thank you so much for being very supportive to me and kind of giving me the encouragement to start the channel, because that's one of the things too, is that uh, since being on, it's like it's damn hard to get subscribers, in the sense of like, um, I was explaining this to my wife, is that with the other social media apps, and Twitter, and those other ones, I found it a little bit easier, and especially with YouTube, uh, at least with my experience, I don't know who the heck is watching my videos, because every now and then it says like who's your subscriber, but majority of the times, like, I don't even know who it is, and so I just know, and I think every content creator, we're just very thankful for those who watch our videos and like it enough to subscribe and to listen to our asses. Because
Yeah.
yeah, because I know, for me, and you touched upon it, like, it's just, you never think of, like, you start this channel, a channel, to connect with other people, and then um yeah, it's just, it's kind of, it's a gratifying, at least I do, feeling when someone is connecting, and then you build that relationship. That's how I became friends with you. Is I watched your video, I subscribed, and I just kept on commenting, and yeah, just building that relationship, because you can build relationships with you on YouTube just like any other social media app. So
Oh, 100%. And then, you started a YouTube channel. The original Fuzz started a YouTube channel. Stuart George's Home Movies started a YouTube channel. Like, everybody who just used to comment on the videos, like when we first started, all started YouTube channels. And, that's awesome because then we get to see their collections too and, find their interests and actually, put a face to the name. And then I also
Mm-hmm.
met David, who I host the show with too through that, which is awesome too. So, and he
Mm-hmm.
lives in Ireland, so that's always crazy to me.
Yeah. So speaking of collections, how big is your physical media collection?
It's just about, actually, I believe I just passed 1,000 movies in my collection, and that's Blu-ray and 4K.
Okay. And when did you start collecting?
I started this collection because I have lost an entire collection, from childhood. Everything that I bought when I was a child is completely gone. So I started this one in 2012 when I bought the first Blu-rays that are in here, which were the Terminator collection and Abe Lincoln Vampire Hunter of all.
What?
Yeah.
That was the last movie I was expecting to hear. Oh my goodness.
I don't know why I bought them. And this is funny too, considering what the market is. But I was in a Walmart and I bought a Blu-ray player and I bought, just Blu-rays that were on the shelf there. And it wasn't a big selection. They had the Terminator collection. And then I saw Abe Lincoln Vampire Hunter. I'm like, I didn't see this in theaters. I'm gonna check it out. That was it.
That's great. That's so damn funny, man. Um, um, I noticed in my videos that I reference a lot of connections with my movies to like my family, like to my father, or to my immediate family. Was when you since you're a collector, was do you yeah, was your parents pretty influential to your collection?
My mother was. My dad, like he likes movies, but like certain movies. He's never really been like somebody who's like in love with movies. We had a tradition as a kid though, where every Thanksgiving, because my parents are divorced, where the day before Thanksgiving, me and my father and my brother and my and now stepmom, we would go to the movies and we would see a movie because that was the day I spent with my father. I spent Thanksgiving with my mother, so that was the only movie tradition with my father. But my mother loves movies
Hmm.
so much, and she's the reason why I love movies because she had me pretty young and she didn't want to watch children's movies, so I never watched kids movies with her. So we always watched way too inappropriate, but she didn't know any better. And I'm thankful for it because, I was watching some pretty dark movies at a young age. Maybe I shouldn't have saw Poltergeist at 6 or like A Nightmare on Elm Street at like 8. Like that, maybe that was too far. But, looking back on it, hindsight's 2020, but I'm still happy because I saw ET, growing up in the 90s, whereas, you know, most people my age probably saw Jurassic Park first, whereas I saw ET first because my mother loved it.
Hmm. uh yeah, that just reminds me of like my first movie that I can really remember it is Nightmare on Elm Street. And yeah, I saw that movie when I was, geez, man, probably yeah, six or seven. Just yeah, I was growing up with my dad, and yeah, he same thing, man. I just watched a ton of horror movies or martial art films, and just whatever he was watching, I was watching, and so yeah, I just found yeah that the parents can be pretty influential if for kids, and that's part of the thing. What I enjoy with my kids is going out to the movie theater. And so uh before I forget, what is your favorite memory with a movie watching with your mom? Is it doesn't it can be like at home or maybe in the movie theater? Like what's yeah, what's your favorite movie, or what's your favorite memory with your
Ah,
mom watching with a movie?
well, actually, it's watching ET when I was about 6 years old with her. When I was in first grade, we lived in this house. We moved a lot when I was a kid. I actually lived in 22 houses growing up, so we moved a lot. But I remember living in this house and watching ET with my mom. But my mom always, I have great memories. She took us like, I don't remember if you remember the I don't, you might have been too old. This might be a little bit of our age gap. But do you remember the Pokemon movie? 'Cause that was a big deal for me when I was a kid.
Oh really? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I like my mom took me and my brother to see that. Same thing with like the Rugrats movie, but that was me growing up in
Mm-hmm.
the 90s. So,
Hmm.
like my mom was always the one who took us. So I always have memories of like with my mom at the theater.
Oh yeah, dude. Speaking of Rugrats, I love Ren and Stimpy and Rocko's Modern Life.
Oh,
Oh my
great shows.
goodness, man. Yeah, my kind of kid humor.
Oh yeah. Oh, I love it.
um. So, what? what is your thoughts of physical media collecting and the importance of it in 2024?
That's a great question. Well, I think it's important because as we've noticed that, streaming services can just take movies from you whenever they want. You could buy movies, but if they lose the rights to it, then you lose that movie too. You're really just renting that movie. Like, yes, it's an extended rent. And it's rare that they'll do it, but we've seen it from the PlayStation Store, plenty of stores that will just take movies when you buy them digitally. Now, when you buy movies physically, whether it be on Blu-ray, 4K, or even DVD, you own that movie. And as long as you have something that plays it, that's your movie. It can't be edited like movies like The French Connection. Like they've edited that movie now. So right now, if you watch that movie, it's not its original, the way it was originally seen. For better or for worse. Well, do you agree with them doing that or not? You still can't watch that movie now unless you have that previously released Blu-ray. We don't know if it'll ever get re-released in its original form. Same thing with the Star Wars trilogy. The original trilogy, right now, if you watch them, it's with the special editions. People who own those VHSs from the 90s, though, you could just watch the original cuts, whereas we're like all scratching and clawing, hoping that one day Disney will give us the original trilogy unedited on 4K Blu-ray, which I don't know if we've noticed. It ain't gonna happen, but but
Yeah.
that's why you own it, and it's just and also I'm a big fan of holding it. I just like to own something physically holding it, physical media. Like I like that I physically can hold it. It's just something very different from going through a carousel on Netflix or Hulu or Max or anything like that, where it's just the movie poster. Whereas these are works of art, in my opinion.
Hmm. Yeah, I honestly had the conversation with my wife. Because she asked me, because she was looking at my movies, and she was like, "Well, why the hell do you have so many dang movies?" And I kind of just related to being a kid at Blockbuster and just seeing those cool VHS cassette covers, and um, those are to me are like were very good times as a kid, and just yeah, just holding exactly what you just said, holding the movies that you love, and no one could take them away from you. And hopefully, my kids will love movies as well, like at least physically having them. um, because yeah, we're just in a time of streaming. And the reason why I asked that question is because at least at the time of this recording, Target just announced that they're going to be removing physical media in their stores, same as what Best Buy did, and they're going to be doing it, I believe, at the end of 2024 or the end of this year. And so, uh, kind of, it's just like a segue of where do you buy your movies?
So I buy my movies mostly from Amazon now. I used to buy them mostly from Best Buy, but when I buy movies, I also use Diabolic DVD, thanks to you, if I'm buying imports, or I will use the Atomic Movie Store. That's the site I've been using a lot recently, mainly because of their use of Shop Pay. And if you pre-order from them, usually comes a little bit early. And for guys like me and you who might not get review copies, it's always nice when you can get a movie a little bit earlier. So using those little mom and pop stores, first of all, you're helping out a smaller business, which is always nice. And it seems like it always works out better because they definitely put a lot more care into the wrapping and the entire shipment process. Whereas Amazon, the guy's going to run up to your stoop and he's going to, throw it on there if he's in a rush, which I understand. But still, be careful with the 4K, man.
Yeah, exactly. My baby, it's all bruised.
You didn't have to do that.
You massacred my boy. So speaking of 4Ks, what's the 4K movie that changed your perception of the format, and what made you want to collect the 4K movies?
So I originally got into 4Ks again, like not even knowing anything really too much about the format, other than it was the step up from Blu-ray. A lot of my stuff actually with movies kind of coincides with video games. So when a video game console would get an upgrade to their physical media, like playing abilities. So with this case, I was moving into my new house, the house I live in now, in 2017. I bought an Xbox, I want to say One S. Yeah, probably. The Xbox, I hate how they name their consoles. Now it's like the Series S and X, but this was the One S, and it had a 4K player in it. So I was like, oh man, all right, well, I'm already collecting Blu-rays. I could finally collect 4Ks. So I bought Unforgiven on 4K. I loved it, but
Oh.
it didn't look like, the best looking 4K. So I was like, okay, it just looks like a better Blu-ray. But then I bought First Blood, and that's the 4K that changed my opinion. That made me go, this is the format for me, which is really funny because that 4K hasn't held up great, but at the time it blew me away, and I was sold on the format, and thankfully I stuck with it because the improvements from 2017 to 2024 are astronomical.
Yeah, I started collecting pretty late into the game, like 2019, and I think I mentioned it in one of our videos. But yeah, the movie that like opened my eyes to 4K is just something so ridiculous, and it's Serenity. Uh,
That's so funny.
yeah, it's like out of the blue. So the reason being is because of course, I try to get my wife, into it. And so she is a huge Firefly fan, and so we both like the movie, and I was like, if I can get her to like this 4K, then maybe I can get some more and blah blah blah. And but yeah, we just had like a basic Samsung UHD TV, nothing like special, but like even with that and the 4K format, because I played the movie on an Xbox as well, an Xbox One, and yeah, I was even still, I was like, dang, the close-ups and the sweat and just the very detailed, and I was like, holy cow, I'm hooked. And so yeah, that damn movie did it for me. It's just so random. So,
I can't believe that's the one, but hey, I mean, that's awesome though. At least, I see what you were going for, and Firefly, a great show that's just never got. I mean, I guess it got the proper finale, but it should have gone longer.
oh, at least two damn seasons, dang.
Right? Oh my god.
um So, what are your top 5 movies, or pieces, because it could be a box set or whatever, in your collection?
Well, one of those is because of you, and that's Frighteners. Oh, I'm looking at it right over here to my left. Without you actually telling me that and pushing me to buy that,
There you go.
yep. I mean, I that became instantly one of my favorites, mainly because I've been a big fan of the movie. So to have a collector's item like that, that's what you want if you're a fan of a movie. You want what that is. That's like the pinnacle. You have choices in the design and the outside. 6 discs, including for me, I love the special features that has a documentary that's over 4 hours in there. I mean, and I sat there and watched the entire thing in one sitting like an animal. So love that. And then another one that's to your left and my right, and that's the Friday the 13th collection. Because yeah.
I'm like, Vanna White.
Yes. Turn the I want a vowel. All right.
Yeah.
But that Friday the 13th collection, I know you weren't collecting at the time, but the old Blu-ray collection before that had all the movies, it
Hmm.
was going for so much money. It came in like a metal tin to the point actually
Hmm.
Matt bought it for $180 on eBay, I believe. Like
Whoa.
like a year before that one came out too, which was great.
Sucker.
Yeah. So I mean, I think it still resells good. I mean, it's a cool piece to say because if you have the memories, but that Friday the 13th set to include every movie, which was hard to do at the time. And we might not get a set like that. Plus, I mean, the beautiful box art. I absolutely love that. So I got to include that in my top 5. And then the Columbia Classics Volume 1 collection. They're on Volume 4 now, and they've all followed the same design. But at the time, I mean, I spent the whole weekend watching every movie in there. Gandhi, Lawrence of Arabia. Like I had to see Lawrence of Arabia in 4K. Blew my mind at the time. Still a great 4K, by the way, but I didn't have as nice a TV now, but still love that collection. The Sony Pictures Classics 30th anniversary set. Love that box set too, because those are just movies I love that I never thought I'd see on 4K. And again, they cater to the collector with the beautiful casing and the slip covers and everything like that. Love that one. And then I love just, I mean, this is a simple one, but I love my Point Break 4K Steelbook, man.
Yeah, damn it! I knew you were gonna twist the knife on me.
I'm sorry. That's one that, I love it. And the artist who made that commented on my video,
Oh,
and
no way.
yeah, and I mean, I was honored because I actually truly do love that steelbook. It's my favorite steelbook. I mean, and it's not like, there's plenty of better ones you might think like that have more bells and whistles, but I mean, for a movie I love, and they put a lot of care into it. Loved it. I just, maybe it's just for me, but I love it.
Yeah, and yeah, I love that. I should have gotten it, man. I regret it every damn day.
Every day.
Just wake up, have nightmares.
In a cold sweat. I could have got it.
Was that 5? I think, right? Yeah, I don't know.
Pretty sure it's 5.
So you you know a lot about movies and about labels within the physical media world. What is your favorite boutique label?
I
And what is your favorite movie in that boutique label?
Now that's a great question. Now I know mine's probably boring and bland, and that's because my favorite label is the Criterion Collection, which I know they're the one with like the most clout in the physical media community, and like can be like a little bit highbrow. But those are the movies that I probably love to discover the most, or like the ones that get least talked about. And like it's like rediscovering. Like for me, I found one of my top 5 favorite movies thanks to the Criterion Collection. That's this movie by Wim Wenders called Paris, Texas from 1984, which is funny because it came out the same year as Terminator, which is my favorite movie. But without the Criterion Collection and me always seeing the box art for Paris, Texas, like always on their website and stuff, I was just like, all right, finally I'll pull the trigger on it. And, without me being sold on Criterion, I wouldn't have done it and I wouldn't have found the movie. But that's not my favorite in the label. My favorite's actually still a release of Malcolm X from a couple of years ago, which came out the same day as Wall-E on 4K. So they were having a good day that day.
That was that was
Yeah.
great.
And I had a great day that day. So
Yeah, your review for Malcolm X actually made me get that movie because yeah, I saw the movie like a long time ago. I didn't remember much. So I didn't initially pick it up. I picked up Wall-E like first day because who the hell knows when Disney's gonna have another label, release one of their own films, and it had Dolby Vision and it looked really good.
isn't it crazy that's the only one we've gotten from them that's gone out to another label? Like it was just one and done with Wall-E. Like I thought that was going to open the door for so much.
It's been a year and a half, right? It's been a
Yeah,
long time.
yeah, it was November 2022. It's been, it'll be 2 years in November, and we haven't gotten any information or nothing. That was it. It was just like a one and done.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. I don't Disney like yeah. I mean that's just a whole different discussion with that damn label oh geez. Like okay. So like dang it. Like I actually had a conversation on Twitter with a buddy of mine, and um they've been shitted on, and rightfully so. I think however, some of my favorite physical media releases have actually been Disney, at least with the design. Like Prey, I really liked the design with the 4 shows that they released, and then at the timing of this video, next week is 4 more shows that are coming out. And so, but man, like even with that, it's just a crappy situation because again, they own Fox and Fox Pictures. I mean, they just have so much in their catalog, and they recently was it Sony has helped with distributing their releases, right?
Mhm.
Correct. Yeah, right. So
Yeah, their first one that they're supposed to be doing is The First Omen, which was just in theaters. So we should be getting an announcement on when that's coming soon. But that's supposed to be the first Disney movie distributed by Sony. That's the last time we got any info. I haven't heard a thing since then.
okay, yeah. I mean, you're definitely more knowledgeable on me of that. Did you see that movie?
I haven't seen First Omen
Oh,
yet.
dude, it's so damn good.
I
I
know.
really liked it.
That's one that, like, I couldn't get there, that I couldn't see that or Immaculate, so maybe I'll do a double nun feature or
Oh
something.
my goodness. Yeah, a little plug. Speaking of like buying physical media, Diabolic DVD and maybe Orbit DVD as well, but I know Diabolic for sure. You can pre-order Immaculate because that comes out in July, I
Oh,
want to
wow.
say, and it's a German release. And I already pre-ordered mine. Yeah, man. I that's one thing that I love. Not to get too sidetracked, but is that with companies like Diabolic, they have really helped us collectors out so damn much. And it's just awesome, like because they have a lot, they have international films that people wouldn't be able to get. I mean, that's how I was able to get The Frighteners, and I think you were able to get The Frighteners from Diabolic DVD.
Yep.
And there's other stores as well, like Atomic, was it Atomic Store or Atomic
Atomic
Movies.
movie store, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, they're really great, and I mean, there's just so many now. Is that I did a video not too long ago of like where to buy with in the four countries that at least that viewers for mine, and it's just yeah, it was all kind of doom and gloom with like Best Buy, and then the news with like Target, but mainly it was Best Buy. But yeah, I mean, I just still think that we're in a very good, as collectors, I think we're in a phenomenal time right now because so many movies are coming out, and it's just we can't keep up. And you just basically kind of have to pick and choose exactly what movies you want to get, because it's kind of like an overload.
Oh
uh
my god, it's crazy. And there's like, and I feel like at the end of every month, they want to like put out as many as they can. Like, I don't know if you saw June 25th, like at the time of this, but like we're getting both Team America World Police and South Park Bigger, Longer, Uncut. We're also getting Anchorman, I'm pretty sure, that day. And there was one more I just saw today is coming out. Oh, Purple Rain's coming out that day. So what the hell am I
oh,
supposed
was
to
that
do?
released, was that announced today?
Yeah, well, they put the steelbook out today. People are a little bit upset because it's not the movie poster. It's like
What is it?
it's like this just very purple looking, like purple rain. It's very purple. Now I didn't hate it, but I like purple. So,
Yeah, is
but the
that
movie,
is that
but the
Paramount?
no, Warner Brothers.
Oh, is it Warner Brothers? Okay.
Yeah,
Oh, man.
yeah. It's Warner. Like they did it with The Exorcist. I wouldn't be surprised if the UK gets the actual one with the movie poster, which is iconic.
No kidding. They'll have like this nice deluxe edition of Purple Rain in the UK.
It's amazing. They're trying to start a war between our countries just by physical media. So like there'll be like 1,000 of us meeting to fight this war. And they're like, what are they fighting about? Well, apparently this one got a better version of Chinatown. Like, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, exactly. Because there's two different versions. I mean, you just nailed it on the head on that one. So
Yeah, Chinatown's getting the UK version's getting a lot more like extras, like as far as like they're getting cards and everything. Whereas here we're getting a Paramount Presents release, which is strange.
yeah, but it comes with the second movie, right?
Yes, we're getting the Two Jakes, which is directed by
Yeah.
Jack Nicholson, which is a bad sequel.
Oh, is it? Okay? Yeah, I haven't seen it. Actually, I haven't seen Chinatown. I've been wanting to see it,
Ah,
but yeah, so I
that's
can't
a
wait.
favorite of mine.
Yeah, yeah, I pre-ordered it. I just haven't seen it yet. Um, I've known you for the past couple years, and I know you're an action guy, and so
Oh
you
yeah.
just touch upon it. Your favorite movie is as the Terminator
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
two, or is it the first one?
It's the first Terminator. That's when I was
Okay, okay,
younger, it was Terminator 2, but as I got older and
okay.
started.
Maybe that's what it was. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not like Terminator 1 is so far ahead of Terminator 2. It's just that when I got more into film, I learned to appreciate Terminator 1 more than Terminator 2, just because, James Cameron made that on a lower budget and it's more of a horror movie than people might think, which is what I like about it. It's a horror
I
sci-fi movie with action moments in it.
Yeah, yeah. I was just discussing that with comparing it to Alien and Aliens. It's
Mhm.
exactly the same damn thing. And we're kind of both in the same, we're in agreement with that. Like, I definitely prefer now as an adult, Terminator. But for some reason, I've always preferred Aliens. Or sorry, Alien than Aliens. But like, yeah, growing up, like I loved everything action, the whole everything about Terminator 2. I was just wowed. It was just a masterpiece. And then growing up, yeah, I just really loved Terminator. Like Arnold is scary as hell, man, in that movie. And not because he's butt ass naked,
Well,
but
that
like
would be
he is
scary.
very threatening. Yeah.
Yeah.
Looking like the Incredible Hulk, but
Yeah, I'm like,
yeah.
I'd be
Oh
like,
my
"What the
goodness.
hell is that?"
He is he is frightening in that movie.
Oh
Oh
my
my
god.
goodness.
He's the
Yeah.
perfect you cast him perfectly. You really couldn't do any better. Like, the guy doesn't speak great English, he doesn't have to. You know?
Mhm.
He's jacked, he's ripped, and he looks like he can kill you, and, like,
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. So leading into that, what is your five uh, action films that you would recommend for people trying to get into that genre?
Well, I would always, of course, recommend the Terminator, and then the second one I always would recommend, and this might be a surprise because I don't really bring it up on the channel much, and that's because it still hasn't come to 4K, and that's Con Air. I absolutely
Yeah,
love Con
yeah.
Air. you know,
Hell yeah.
a lot of people might not realize that, but like for a long time when I was growing up, those are my top 10 movies. I've always loved that movie, and I get it; it's cheesy and over the top, but some of my favorite action movies are cheesy and over the top. So that's right up there with them. Another one would be another Nick Cage movie, which is Face Off. Face Off's another one that I would have to always recommend to people. If you've never seen Face Off, Nick Cage, John Travolta, John Woo directing it. John Woo was a director who was big in Hong Kong. He made movies like Hard Boiled that were iconic. And then he came to the States. It's been kind of a mixed bag, but Face Off is a cheesy masterpiece with doves and slow motion and John Travolta and Nicolas Cage doing impressions of each other to each other's face. You could just never go wrong with that.
Yeah.
Now, I guess you got to include Batman. Like, I mean, that's a superhero movie, but it's still kind of an action movie. So I don't know if I would include. So I'll go the Dark Knight because that's definitely more inspired by Heat. And
Mhm.
speaking of Heat, that's another one that I have to consider to be one of the greatest movies of all time, and has one of the best action sequences. That robbery scene with the audio design. I mean, that's a masterpiece.
When I checked the 4K out, my wife yelled at me because I was like, because I knew that scene was coming up, and I forgot how just
Oh my
it
god.
sounded lifelike. It was ba 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 ba. I
Mhm.
was like, holy damn!
And then the echoes, like you could just hear them, and they
Oh
just
my
feel
god!
like and what blows my mind is like they don't actually like I was watching The Town and they kind of did it, but they don't really do that too much. Usually they want to go for that fake artificial sound where it all just sounds generic. Why wouldn't you want it to sound like Heat where it feels like I could get shot?
Yeah, no kidding. Checking your wall for a bullet hole.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh man.
dang. I mean, you touched upon it with Nick Cage. For me, uh, top three is The Rock.
Oh,
I love that damn movie. It is the best, man. And can we talk about Nick Cage and his names and those damn movies like John Goodspeed?
like
and
I
like,
can't believe that's his name in that movie. It's ridiculous. And it's Nicolas Cage as a scientist. Like it's just that Nicolas Cage is one of the greatest actors just because he commits to no matter what the role is. It doesn't matter what it's like, yeah, I can do it. All right.
so good. Like I just did a video not too long ago of vampire movies, and I mentioned in that video of like you can't mention a vampire genre without Nicolas Cage and Vampire's Kiss. Have you seen that movie, man?
Yeah, he's a psychopath in that movie.
He
Like
it is it's one of my favorite films roles of because it's just so outrageous. It's like, what the hell am I watching?
he
And it's
doesn't feel like he's in the same movie as everybody else. That's the thing.
it's so ridiculous, man. But I love it. I'm a vampire. Like, it's so funny. And then like him playing Dracula and Renfield, like I those type of films I just love. Secretly, Nick Cage is definitely one of my favorite actors. Like Oh my goodness, man. Yeah, he just goes for it.
He always does. I love that about
Yeah,
him.
exactly. Um, you know drama a lot more than me. What is your favorite? I'm gonna same similar question. Top five drama movies. Recommendations
Oh well,
for new people.
for
Yeah.
dramas, I have a ton. I mean, you could go like with so many different directors and decide like which ones like with Martin Scorsese, like Goodfellas, that's a drama, and I mean, it's one of the most it's a story that so many people think that it's inspiring when it's really not. It just shows that crime doesn't pay. Martin Scorsese, a lot of his movies, they think that Casino, Wolf of Wall Street, like those are fun movies. Yeah, you're watching these guys have a great time, but you live fast. And if you look at the end of all three of those movies, they don't end happily, all except for freaking Jordan Belfast and Wolf of Wall Street. I think he went to jail for 2 years. He got away with a lot. He still came out on top, in my opinion. So, but I always recommend that. Goodfellas, like Pulp Fiction. I think that's one of the greatest movies ever made. Quentin Tarantino's masterpiece. That movie got me hooked on movies, on the movie making, because of the nonlinear storytelling. I was just like, how's he doing this? Like, we're opening here and we end almost the same place. Like, and this happened before this. That I just thought was perfect. I mentioned it earlier, Paris, Texas by Wim Wenders. That movie has the greatest scene in film history in it. It's just a two-way mirror between a husband and wife who haven't seen each other in like 8 years, and the husband just comes in and talks to her and like says what he was thinking and just leaves his son there. And it
Mm.
breaks, honestly, like it feels like the most genuine conversation between a husband and wife ever. And thinking about it still makes me like emotional. Like, it's incredible how a scene can do that, but the whole movie, it doesn't work without the whole movie. So I have to say Paris, Texas.
Hmm.
um and then another one just off the top of my head, like I might miss a couple because I'm always thinking, but yeah, Fallen, not Fallen. What is that movie called? Oh my god, Jeff Bridges movie. God, Follow. Is it Following? Hold on a second. I have to get the right name of this.
Well, really quick, yeah, Goodfellas is my favorite movie of all time.
Is it really your favorite movie of all
My
time?
favorite. People think it's horror because I love, a
I
horror
would think that
movie.
it's horror.
No, but like it is without a doubt the Goodfellas, man. That to me is like a 10 out of 10 perfect movie.
Oh man, I'm glad
Yeah,
to hear that. How'd you not jump in there when I was saying that?
I didn't want to interrupt you, man.
Oh
Yeah.
man, if that's your favorite movie, it's awesome. I'm so glad. Yeah, I did. That movie's the most rewatchable movie ever because you could just always rewatch it. But
The yeah.
you know, uh,
What was the name of the movie? Really quick.
Fearless from 1993. This movie stars Jeff Bridges, Rosie Perez, not Guillermo del Toro. What's his name? Benicio del Toro's in it, one of his early roles. But it's basically about these people who survived the plane crash and how they cope with, survivor's guilt and readjusting to life. And like, some people feel like there's no point to life anymore, or some people feel invincible and, dealing with all that. And it feels very realistic. It's actually by the same director of The Truman Show,
Really
which is funny because another drama I always recommend is Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
love that movie.
Oh
Oh my
my
goodness.
god, that one with Kate Winslet, Jim Carrey. She's great in the Truman Show, but that movie will wreck you. And I'm a Long Islander, so that movie takes place on Long Island.
Yeah, represent.
Yeah, that's what it is, and it looks so ugly and cold. And I'm like, they caught it. They caught Long Island perfectly.
That's hilarious, man. Um, what is your guilty pleasure movie?
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of those. I watch so many bad movies, but have you ever seen the movie Psycho Gorman? Because I always feel like this is a
I
movie.
heard it. I heard of it. I think that's is that a Vinegar Syndrome movie as well? I think.
I believe so. I have the Blu-ray over here.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a small movie, but the effects, and this is why I think you were like, it looked like Power Rangers effects, like from the 90s, but like it's intentionally, but it looks very low budget, and it definitely is. But I mean, run back to that movie all the time whenever I'm in a bad mood, but it's not a good movie. But but I like all those kind of like bad movies, like The Toxic Avenger. Like that's not a
Hmm.
good movie. I like those trauma movies, Tromeo and Juliet. Like I love bad movies like that. Like I mean, like really bad movies that, like, The Room. That's a fun one. You ever see The Room?
Hell yeah, I did. I saw it
Yeah.
in the theater too.
Yeah, you know, like I can't even know if I don't know if I can count that as guilty pleasure anymore because I feel like a lot of people have seen it now and kind of are
Mhm.
in on the joke. Where like ever since the Disaster Artist, now everyone kind of gets it. But it used to be a thing where only like certain people knew about The Room.
Mhm, mhm.
So
Yeah. Um, and, yeah, trying to think. What is the 4K movie, or at least what's on physical media? What's the movie that you're looking forward to, at least so far? That's, because I think it's like July or August. Maybe some movies are being released, but like, yeah, what's a movie that you're looking forward to that's going to be released on physical media?
well, we already talked about Chinatown, but that's at number one for me. But but another one that I'm looking forward to, another Paramount Presents coming out on May 14th. Once Upon a Time in the West, Sergio Leone's best film. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but
I haven't. Yeah.
that's a great one. I'm a Western guy to a point. Until like Stuart George came around and blew me out of the water and made me realize I don't know that much about Westerns. That Once Upon a Time in the West is my second favorite of all time. And this movie, this is the guy who gave us The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. And I still think this movie is better. Charles
Hmm.
Bronson's in it. And it's a masterpiece. But I can't wait for that. But another one, and I know you're gonna jump in on this one too, and that's Killer Clowns from Outer Space. That steelbook is coming soon, and I mean it's coming real soon. So I can't wait for that one. That's the one I've. That's speaking, I guess, cheesy movies. Would you count that as guilty pleasure too? Because I love it.
I don't know. I think it falls into this almost the same thing as The Room. Like it's so popular now. First off, I double dipped on that. I got the steelbook and the slip cover because I'm an
uh,
idiot. So
well,
this
you
time,
have all of them, right? You have every
yeah,
Scream Factory release, so you want to have
yeah,
them all with the slips, right?
yeah. But that steelbook too is gorgeous, man. I'm yeah. Oh my goodness, popping because it's the cotton candy and like oh my
Oh my
goodness,
god,
man.
yeah, I know. It would be
Yeah.
cool if they actually sent it with a bag of cotton candy, but yeah, they'd probably get in trouble.
Yeah, that's like an extra $100 from Scream Factory.
Oh my god, at least. This is the best cotton candy ever. Isn't cotton candy like air and sugar? There's more
Mm.
to it.
Um, yeah, and then, what's your most anticipated film that's gonna be released in the movie theater?
Ooh, that's a good question. It actually was that new movie that was supposed to come that stars Robert Patterson. That was by what's his name who directed the Parasite from a couple years ago. What's his name?
Oh, Park no.
Not Park Chan Wook.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about because he did, what was it, Koja?
Yeah, Koja, or whatever that was.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Okja.
yeah.
Yeah, and Snowpiercer. His next
Sno
movie,
oh, yeah, that's a
Snowpiercer
good
is
one.
so good. Yeah, so
Yeah.
I was looking forward to his next movie. I was supposed to come out this year. Now it got pushed back to next year. So I don't know. I'm looking forward to Yorgos Lanthimos' next movie. The guy that new movie he's doing with Emma Stone again. He's got another one coming out. He just directed last year's Poor Things.
Mhm.
So like he's got another movie coming out this June. So I'm looking forward to that. That's on the release calendar. But my number one, Deadpool and Wolverine.
Really? Oh, okay.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
huge Deadpool guy. I've loved those. The first two movies are some of my favorite superhero movies ever. I just like raunchy, stupid humor, and Ryan Reynolds seems to also.
Um, yeah, so, yeah, so just a few more questions. What is the best advice someone has given you, um, since you've been on YouTube?
Honestly, the best advice I've ever gotten, I really haven't gotten too much. It's really just been from like friends who just like kind of just told me like to like ease it back a little bit. Like I feel like sometimes you can oversaturate. Like I would never recommend to somebody doing a video every single day because it actually does kind of drag down like the amount of views you can get on other videos. So when people say like to do like maybe 4, 5, maybe 3, like that might actually be better for you. And honestly, it'll help your mental health. And I've gotten that from a couple of YouTubers who have like told me that. And honestly, it really is the best advice. So if you are looking to go into YouTube out there, um, don't put so much of a workload on yourself because it actually will affect your content. And when you're trying to grab information from your mind, if you just keep thinking about the next video, you're not thinking about the video you're working on.
Mhm, mhm. Uh,
So,
um, what is Okay, so that is you'd actually just kind of touch upon it. I was going to ask what's the advice you give to new content creators. That's a perfect example
Oh yeah, yeah.
right
Don't
there.
kill yourself. Like that's, it's gonna be you're not gonna be an overnight success. Like it rarely happens. So don't expect it to happen. You gotta put the work in, and it's you're playing the long game, not the short game.
Hmm. Um, yeah, I. What are your goals for your YouTube channel this year?
For this year, I'm at 3,500 subscribers. I would like to get to five. I don't know if that's gonna happen. That's my biggest goal this year. I would like to get to 5,000. It looks like it's on an upward trajectory, but I'm not gonna be discouraged if it doesn't happen this year. I understand. For me, this was a 5-year plan. I started this channel when I was turning 30. I wanted this to be a successful YouTube channel to the point where it was a good income when I was 35.
Okay. Um, you know what? I'm going to touch upon it. At 30, so what happens like what is a good outcome? Because you said this is your third year, entering your third year, pretty
hmm
close to it.
I'm
Like,
almost at halfway to that 5-year
yeah,
mark. It'd be 5
yeah.
at, like, the end of June, because I
So
did
like,
start in January of 2022, so it's perfect.
yeah.
Mm.
Um, for you, like, what is that mark? Like,
For
because you,
me,
yeah.
like, what do I, like, wanna be at by that point? Well, by that point, I said that this had to be a full-time job, at least somewhere in the film review industry, like being a full-time film critic. If it's not on YouTube, it's gotta be somewhere else, and if I don't hit that, to be honest with you, I would consider that a failure on my part. Like, I I
Hmm.
I get that my channel's, like, somewhat successful now, but, look at the numbers compared to other channels, and I should be grateful, and I am. I'm very every subscriber I have, I'm thankful because they're choosing to follow me. Like you should be grateful for everybody, but you have goals and aspirations, and I would just like to do this full time because there's nothing in the world I love more than film. So, and for me, it's like talking about films, and I get that. Like I critique other people's art, and I understand, but I do love this, and I love film, and I love physical media, and I would just like, if it can't be YouTube, something in that general area. If I
Hmm.
don't do that by 35, I would definitely say I didn't hit my goals.
Hmm. Would you consider like quitting or just continuing and kind of just to see, maybe it's the following year or, you know.
Well, I don't think I'd ever quit just because I actually enjoy making videos. Like I
Hmm.
might the worst that would ever happen is like I just wouldn't put them out as frequently as I would do. That would be like the worst case scenario. Otherwise, I enjoy the process of reviewing movies. It makes movie watching more fun for me actually reviewing them. So
Okay. Yeah, I know that I've talked to people, and they, stated, you kind of get it. You got to get in a different mindset. Like, prior to being on YouTube, you can just enjoy watching a movie. Now, since you're a physical media content creator, like you're looking at a different aspect, a different perspective, and so for you, you find it a little bit more enjoyable. Or at least you like that type of
I
yeah,
do. I
viewing.
really like the aspect of like because it forces you to pay attention. Because I feel like in 2024, everybody's always reaching for their phones, no matter what the movie is. For me, I'm like, okay, I have to pay attention to every detail because this is part of my job. So I have to sit there. I put my phone down. Like when I do physical media reviews, I watch the movie one full time through and just watch it as a film. And then I start studying all the stuff with my phone. But I like to give it the full watch, every detail, and especially if I do new movie reviews, like I don't take my phone, I try and let it wash over me and try to experience it like a viewer would. But you still start thinking of like the review in your head as you're going. I don't know if that happens to you now, or start
Hmm.
thinking about what you're going to say when you're watching a movie.
No, not yet. I guess at least for me, I'm still like, I mean, I'm like I said, I'm so damn brand new. Like, I guess I haven't thought about that yet. What am I going to say exactly about the movie? Um, but yeah, I'm still like learning. I'm still asking you a bunch of dang questions and probably yeah, it's just yeah, like I said, you just been very helpful for me to grow as a content creator and it just goes without saying uh follow John and follow all my guests that's on this video series. But yeah, it's just I'm very thankful for meeting you on YouTube and building this relationship. And so I really hope that you do reach that milestone, because I had an interview with Cody, and his thing was kind of similar in the sense of he had I think at the 5 year mark, that's when he transitioned into full time, because I spoke to him. He's been doing YouTube for 7 years, slightly over, and that was like almost to the date, very close. It was like that 5 year mark, that he switched over to the full time. So yeah, man, I definitely wish you the best, and keep on working your butt off, because and subscribe, because yeah, you're killing it with the content. And yeah, so just keep grinding, man.
I appreciate it, buddy. I'll never stop. Never stop, man.
Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. So thank you, John, for joining my little video series, the Physical Media Club. And of course, yeah, thank you for being a part of my membership, in the collector membership. I stated earlier, I still find it odd trying to self promote my little memberships. And I it's just awkward, man.
Listen. That's why I always try and tell people, like when I say I promote it, but I say, listen, if you don't got it, don't spend your last dollar on me, all right? Because like I understand completely. So when people got the money, if you want to spare and help out the little guy, it's very appreciated, and that's why you've been helping me. You would like, I'm pretty sure you were my first one too. So if I could be one of your first ones, it's an honor because you were my longest running supporter. You and Shamrock from like the beginning.
Mhm. Yeah, thanks, man. And like you mentioned in plenty of your videos, is a simple like and subscribing just helps out majorly
Hmm.
for us. So
And honestly, also people might not realize this, but if you dislike it too, actually helps out your video.
oh, what, really?
Yeah, they just want to see people like interact. It's like pro wrestling. Like how like you want to go for a cheer or a boo, but
Uh-huh.
getting nothing is bad. It's the same on YouTube. If they just see people click your video and watch it and just do nothing with it, they think that they just didn't care about it. But if they disliked it, at least they're interacting with it, and they'll send it around to other people who might dislike it too.
Wow. Yeah, that's new to me. I didn't know that.
Hate sells on social media no matter what it
Haters ball.
is.
So I'll end on that one, man. So yeah, thanks guys for checking out the video. Go ahead and yeah, like and subscribe to John's channel, Let's Talk Entertainment. Every his links will be all in the description video. And yeah, guys, thanks for checking out the video, and have a great day.